What's up, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and none of the above? This is DL here, back. It's been a minute. Sorry if you can hear cars driving. Pretty close to the road now. I've moved. Anyways, we're here. You know, we're here. We're queer. Nothing to fear. We we just won the Kirby Street League, Season 4. I know. I won my own league 3 times out of 4. It's rigged. That's what everybody's talking about. And then every other league I play in dies. DL the League Killer. That's what they're calling me now. Yeah, cause we're a menace. We're a menace. They can't beat us. Anyways, I'm gonna be doing some recap videos going over my season. I don't like to make videos during the season usually, because I don't like to give away any of my tendencies, any like sets I like, things I like about mons and such. I don't like to give my opponents anything. Yeah. Anyways, this was my draft here. DL the Detroit Quagsires. I had the 14th pick out of 16. The Kirby Street League has been a 16-team league for the past 3 seasons. And I knew I wasn't going to get anything ridiculously strong, like, Zygarde or Coco, Celesteela. Those all go really early, or Mew, anything like that. So I knew I would probably want to get something that I felt could be strong, but could also fall to me. And so I put my eyes on Hoopa Unbound. Hoopa, Pokemon like this are things I'm really comfortable with, in that I'm used to mons that people generally aren't like huge fans of or have like very obvious glaring weaknesses. Like Mega Abomasnow, I used a lot in KSL Season 2, for example. And that's probably going to be the most similar thing here, except instead of reverse drafting Mega Abomasnow, where I get it really late after picking up all the support mons, Hoopa is far more desirable just because it's not as slow and it's even stronger. So I picked it up first round. You never know when people are going to take Hoopa. If they do take it, I mean, sometimes it goes undrafted. Anyways, so Hoopa Unbound, 80 base speed, like 160 attack, 170 special attack, dark psychic typing, decent Spadef, terrible Fizdef. So it's like a incredibly strong breaker, especially with Band or Specs. But it's 4 times weak to U-turn. So most of my draft is looking to address getting Volt Turn spammed on me because Hoopa just gives up a free U-turn because it will die to any U-turn, basically. Well, maybe not every single one, but basically any offensive mon will kill it with U-turn. Like it's not Celebi. And also trying to address the fact that my Psychic type does not resist Ghost, which is kind of an issue. My Dark type doesn't resist Dark. My Psychic type doesn't resist Fighting. Like drafting Hoopa Unbound sacrifices a lot of defensive utility that you're often expecting your Psychic or Dark type to provide. Because while they make it so that it has very few weaknesses, it has the glaring U-turn weakness, and doesn't have the resistances that you'd like those typings to have. So with that said, with my second pick, I took Clefable. Clefable, Stealth Rock setter, Thunder Wave user. Hoopa, as I mentioned, was only 80 base speed, so really appreciates speed support, speed control from things like Paralysis from Clefable. Clef is just extremely solid. 2 weaknesses. It has Magic Guard. You can run Unaware. It's hard to break. It's a sort of a consistent Pokemon that'll really complement a more matchup dependent Pokemon like Hoopa. Like Hoopa will eat fat teams, but it kind of gets shredded by offense. And then next pick, I took Gliscor. 95 speed, amazing Fizdef, great typing. It's really nice. Electric Check. Nice thing about Clefable and Gliscor and my later Toxapex pick is I drafted some really premier bulk. But you can't toxic any of these. I mean, if you toxic Gliscor, it'll be pretty happy, unless you manage to Mold Breaker toxic it with like Excadrill. But that's pretty niche. So yeah, it's hard to wear my walls down. Even things like hazards, like Volt Turn with hazards is really annoying. So I tried to draft a more hazard resistant team so that I wouldn't have to lose more momentum going for things like defog or rapid spin. I tried to make build some momentum rather than just giving it all up for free. My Hoopa to really help facilitate its strengths and make up for its weaknesses. So on that note, Gliscor does get U-turn. You know, lots of nice moves like knockoff to get rid of choice scarves. It can run a sweeper set with like sword stance. What else to say? Stealth rocks, defog. That's one of my main defoggers. Yeah, Gliscor is the 4 times ice weakness is kind of annoying. So I wouldn't like it as like my only electric community, but as one of two, it's really nice. I wasn't like a huge fan of it throughout the season, but it definitely did its job. So my next pick was Mienshao. Mienshao I thought was a really great fighting type to go along with Hoopa Unbound, putting together my fighting psychic dark core. Mienshao has Regenerator and it has U-turn, so it's hazard resistant and it gets the momentum, which is pretty nice. You can run really good assault vest sets as well. It's actually its main set UU right now because its offensive sets are outclassed by other things. But yeah, Mienshao is a huge offensive threat in draft format as well. Things with high jump kick, knockoff, U-turn, gets nice priority. Things like fake out. Other coverage moves like poison jab are pretty useful. I was able to make it a Z captain as well, so that was pretty nice. Like 1 week I ran like Poisonium Z for Tapu Fini. It's pretty nice. Yeah, so like being able to run like an assault vest regenerator set is really nice to help give a good dark resist since my dark type doesn't resist dark. Yeah. My next pick, I believe, was I took Drudagon next. So like I like to make sort of like draft plans that aren't necessarily a bunch of top tier mons, but like a mon I like, and then some of the lower tiers I think will go with it. And one of the ones I knew I wanted to get with Hoopa was Drudagon. So Drudagon's a 48 base speed dragon. It's a tier 4 Pokemon, so pretty cheap. I grabbed it nice and early so I wouldn't get sniped because I knew it fit my team really well. Rough Skin Rocky Helmet is a pretty nice deterrent to U-turn. People lose like nearly a third of their health doing that. It gets Glare, which is a brilliant paralysis move. 100% accurate, and you can paralyze ground types, which Hoopa really appreciates that. You can phase things around with Dragon Tail or Roar. It gets Mold Breaker, which is a really nice ability, especially for like Levitate users or Magic Bounce users. So you can get Mold Breaker Stealth Rock or Mold Breaker Toxic. It gets good coverage moves, Earthquake, Gunk Shot to hit Steel types and Fairy types. Fire Punch for Scizor. It's just a nice mon. It's really slow, so it doesn't really get to use its offenses too much, other than like I only really ran Dragon Tail for Dragon Stab. But I managed to land some pretty powerful Earthquakes and Gunk Shots still. Like, it's got like 120 attack, so it's not setup fodder. Yeah, its main move is Dragon Tail. So it's really nice for shuffling things around, spreading, paralysis, wearing things down. That's sort of what Drodagon does. And yeah, it's another stealth rocker, so I have my 3 rockers pretty early, which is nice, so I can focus on other things for the rest of my draft. The next mon, this was another mon I knew I wanted to get with Hoopa, was Talonflame. So I said I wanted to be hazard resistant. Well, Talonflame is exactly the opposite, 4 times weak to rocks. But it's one of my only 2 rock weaknesses. And basically, the rest of my roster being relatively resistant to rocks I felt would make other teams less inclined to heavily prioritize getting up rocks or even sometimes foregoing bringing rocks, which I felt my Talonflame would benefit from. It's a nice low tier Z user, which is nice in a league that uses Z points. Like Gale Wings, Z Brave Bird. It's pretty nice. Really fast speed tier. It's really good speed control. Gets momentum with things like U-turn. I mean, it can defog. I defogged with it, believe it or not. And it gets a Flame Body, which is another really nice U-turn deterrent, especially if you're going against, I don't know, maybe some things that, anything that would avoid Rocky Helmet would also avoid Flame Body, but uh, if something like Druddigon was too exploitable, then a Talonflame could try to get a burn on something with U-turn. It's pretty nice. So my next Pokemon, I believe, was, I don't know. Yeah, I think I took Decidueye next. Decidueye is one of my comfort mons. I've drafted many times. I also had it in KSL Season 1. Grass Ghost is a really nice typing ghost covering up two of the grass type weaknesses, poison and bug, which I really appreciate. There's not a lot of grass types I'm big fans of. Decidueye gave me a third defogger, pretty good one, which is nice. Has U-turn. It can be an offensive setup bomb, a swords dance, nasty plot. You can't pass any stats, so baton pass isn't too useful in this league. You can run like band, specs, scarf, especially defensive, like defog, roost is a really good support set. Assault vest is a nice set. Yeah, just a really versatile Pokemon. It's really nice glue for the team. Gives me nice ground resist as well. Though Gliscor is able to take on most offensive ground types. Yeah, and then the ghost typing was really nice to help deal with fighting types as well. Like I really invested in some key anti-fighting type bulk because fighting types are just so strong in draft format. Think of Pokemon like Mega Lopunny, Mega Medicham, Mega Gallade, Terrakion. They're just menaces. You don't want to lose to them. Infernape's another one. Yeah. So this is what's cool. Spirit Shackle also traps things, which can be pretty helpful for helping facilitate the win conditions or get in really safe switches with any of my strong resistances and immunities that a lot of my Pokemon have. And it made another nice Z Captain. It's another cool option. Yeah, I've managed to have 3 like lower tier ones that were all pretty decent users. I brought each of these Z at some point in the season. I think my next Pokemon is Togedemaru. This is a Pokemon I feel a lot of people have been sleeping on. I mean, yeah, I drafted a tier 5 for my Steel type, which at times there were a couple matchups where I regretted this, namely when I had to play the Kyurem. That was a bit of a pain. Yeah, like Kyurem just kind of destroys Gliscor, Toxapex, non like max special defense Clefable. Then you can run Earth Power for Togedemaru. The Togedemaru does outspeed. Yeah, like Kyurem ended up doing a number on my team. Mega Mawile was also pretty scary, but I had Gliscor and Toxapex to sort of restrict what sort of sets it could run and its effectiveness. Yeah, just like offensive steals, offensive fairies, dragons. Though Clef was really nice to try to deal with some of those dragons. Having such a solid fairy really enabled me to have a arguably less solid steel type. But Togedemaru is a god. This mon did so much. I brought this as much as anything else on my team this season. Came to like 9 games out of 13, I think, or 9 games out of 12. It's got some really good sets. 96 base speed's really nice, and 98 attack. While it's not strong, I mean, it's about as strong as Jirachi. Steel Electric's a super great typing. Tons and tons of resistances and immunities. I mean, it's the same typing as Magnezone, but the thing is, it's not 60 base speed, so it's able to avoid a lot of the earthquakes that Magnezone has to eat. Really great abilities with Lightning Rod, giving me a second electric immunity, working really well with Gliscor. Iron Barb's really nice for getting chip, discouraging U-turn. So a decent Rocky Helmet user as well. Also gets access to Spiky Shield, which is really nice, especially if you're using a Wish set. Wish Spiky Shield is pretty good set on Togedemaru. I'd say there's like sort of 3 main sets with Tog in draft format. Well, I guess there's four, but I use three. You have like the Wish support set. You have just like a specially like a defensive pivot, like leftovers and like U-turn for momentum. Assault vest, which is pretty similar to that, but I really like, especially with Togedemaru getting access to Nuzzle, makes it a really great assault vest user because it basically still gets to use a status move, since Nuzzle is a base 20 power attack that has a 100% chance of paralysis, so it's just a buffed version of T-Wave. And it never misses, which is nice. So more speed control, hazard, not hazard, U-turn deterrent, really nice steel type. Give me another psychic resist. Though I was pretty threatened by offensive psychic types on the whole this roster. I made it work. Yeah, Choice Scarf is the other really good set with this. It gets access to U-turn. Sing Zap's pretty nice for physical electric stab. Iron Head moves like Super Fang, Nuzzle, Toxic, something you'd run. It gets access to Poison Jab as well. So pretty cool moves. Really enjoyed this Pokemon. Yeah, and Sturdy is his other ability, which can come in handy if you're getting swept, or just really need to get off a little bit of chip on something. And my second to last mon was Ambipom. I ended up dropping this for Chinchino later, just because I looked at a bunch of matchups. And while Ambipom has Fake Out, which works really well with my last Pokemon Toxapex with Toxic Spikes, I didn't really value Fake Out that much in a lot of matchups, and really I preferred Chinchino's coverage moves, namely Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, to help pressure certain bulky flying types, bulky fire types, bulky waters that sometimes my team could struggle against. I didn't talk about this spawn yet. I think I drafted it after Ambipom. But yeah, like things like Mega Glalie, Gliscor. Really appreciate some of the breaking power that Chinchino had. I mean, Chinchino and Ambipom are super similar. Chinchino, another U-turn mon, knockoff to help remove items. Super strong skill link tail slap. It was really nice for improving my matchup against offense with its really high speed tier. Just something like Talonflame plus Chinchino really helped me in a lot of these matchups against some of the more offensive teams that people drafted this season, especially the people I ended up having to play. And so my second to last one, I took Mega Glalie. Gave me some extra points that my team appreciated. Nice 100 base speed. Gave me some more priority with Ice Shard. My team didn't have as much priority as I usually like to have, but it's okay because I had some really premier bulk and incredible breakers, and like Hoopa breaks most teams. Like anything without some super thick dark type. Yeah, like even things like Mandibuzz, it gets coverage for with like T-Bolt. Like I mean, Focus Blast can hit them, but I don't really like that move. I'm not a fan of Focus Miss. Yeah, Mega Lily, pretty nice 100 base speed, 120 offenses. The access to move like Ice Shard, Taunt, Earthquake, it's really nice coverage. Freeze Dry was pretty nice for certain water types, like Slowbro in particular. Was a mon. Freeze Dry was very helpful for. Made it much more threatening against Swampert. Yeah. So yeah, it gave me access to spikes, which is pretty cool with a lot of the switches that a lot of my mons were able to force. My last Pokemon, I mean, a lot of people think this Pokemon's bad. I think it's actually ridiculously strong because it walled the ever-living crap out of a lot of my opponents. Water Poison, I mean, Toxapex is the best wall in Pokemon right now. It only has 3 weaknesses, and ground types don't usually want to come in on Scald. Electric types were kind of deterred by... Yeah, Toxapex has really great synergy with Gliscor. They cover like all of their weaknesses bar Psychic. Yeah, Gliscor is immune to 2 of Toxapex's 3 weaknesses. And then Toxapex doesn't really care about water or ice moves. Yeah, Pex, give me T-Spikes, Knockoff, Haze, gave me a regen core with me and Shell. It's a nice wall that maintained momentum. Toxapex does not let up. People think it's passive, but this thing, it was doing it to him. You know, Toxic Spike, Scald, Knockoff. It's a lot of nice defensive utility, a lot of cool options. A lot of matchups if people don't have very strong setup threats, you can even forgo Haze. Around like knockoff Toxic Spikes. It's really good. Or or if I'm running like Unaware Clefable, that was another nice synergy. And Clefable, of course, really appreciates not Toxapex, covering the Steel and Poison weakness. So it's a really nice, strong three Mon defensive backbone between Pex, Clef, and Gliscor. Mons that wouldn't really give up momentum. They're really hard to wear down. Just really requiring my opponents to actually bring authentic breakers, which was cool. So overall, my team was pretty nice. Certain weaknesses were kind of annoying, like Psychic. Fighting types with access to Ice Punch turned out to be a big headache because they were able to threaten Gliscor, or if they're like especially strong and able to break through Clefable. Yeah, but I enjoyed it, and you'll get to see some of the things I did with it. Anyways, this is Deal. Take care.